Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to build on what we started in the last. Remember, there are two major things that you have to do in order to be a successful weather trader. The first is this: you always have to be watching the market and use the market to get you into positions that give you a statistical edge relative to your unbiased curve. The second thing you have to do is just as important, and it's caused by the weather as a traded variable in itself. Now, I know it sounds like a word salad, but hear me out, okay? Mother Nature doesn't care about you, much less your weather portfolio. She doesn't care how good or bad of a trader you are, and most importantly, she especially doesn't care about how big your portfolio is. Generally speaking, you cannot push Mother Nature around. So you can have tens or hundreds of counterparties in your trades, but at the end of the day, you really only have one. So how do you trade something that cannot be predicted? There's corporations and governments out there with supercomputers that really cannot predict the weather out past 2 weeks. So how are you supposed to be able to trade something that settles in 5 months? So the answer to that question is this: you have to maintain a balanced portfolio. That means that you cannot have it tilted too far to one side, like betting too much on cold or too much on warmth in your cities. So in order to do this, you have to place trades that are either negatively correlated to each other, or if you cannot find that opportunity at that point in time, you have to keep doing many trades in cities that are not correlated, but only when you have a strong statistical edge in those cities. And this is why, as a weather trader, your best friend is a correlation table. Fortunately, I made it really easy for you to see what correlated cities are when you trade. From the front screen, remember, each one of these points is a tradable location. If you click on this one, the info screens will pop up. And if you're not familiar with what correlation means, it's simply how much one thing moves in relation to another. So the number that is presented underneath each little city is called the correlation coefficient, and it ranges from -1 to +1. Basically, it's just a measure of how the degree days in these cities move together. And notice, I didn't say temperature, I said degree days. And it's important. And this is why I don't like to use HDDs and CDDs unless you're trading weather crossed with energy like natural gas or electricity. I much prefer using CAT if we're trading purely weather because it makes much more sense. In this case, I clicked on San Juan, Puerto Rico. And if you look at the left side, you'll see 6 cities presented. The top 3 cities are the most correlated to San Juan, while the bottom 3 are the most negatively correlated. Keep this in mind: if something is negatively correlated, it's not the same thing as being not correlated. They still move together, they just move in opposite directions. So for weather trading purposes, and especially considering the way I'm teaching you how to trade weather, you benefit from diversification also. So any city that has a positive correlation coefficient higher than 0.75 is considered a good correlation. And any city that has a negative correlation that's less than -0.75 is considered a good negative correlation. And all the other cities that don't meet those 2 requirements are considered not correlated. So for San Juan, you can see that San Jose, Costa Rica has a 79% correlation, or a 0.79, but that's pretty good. The next one would be Rome, interestingly enough. You can see some very interesting correlations when you start using Weather Mage. There's some correlations that even climatologists who I've talked to are actually surprised when they see it presented in a kind of like a holistic way like this. Okay, so let's do a correlation trade. I'm not going to look at any forecasts, so we'll just do this trade based purely on trading 2 correlated cities with each other. So if you look at Marrakesh here, where my mouse is, it's trading a little bit below curve. So let's go to Marrakesh. Marrakesh is in Africa. We're on Marrakesh right now. Since it's trading below curve, what you want to do is buy it. It's trading a little bit below. I'm going to buy 5 contracts. Okay. So I've bought Marrakesh. I bought a little bit below curve. Now we need to do offsetting trade, to keep consistent. And from the trading panel, you can get to the info page just by click picture of the city here. Let's click on this picture. Marrakesh pops up. You can see that the highest correlation that Marrakesh has is Madrid, Spain. It makes a lot of sense. Even though Marrakesh is in Africa, it's actually very close to the Madrid. So let's click on, well, Madrid has a 78% correlation. That's good. So let's click on Madrid and let's click on trade, and Madrid pops up, and the Madrid trading panel pops up, and good, it's trading above curve, so we want to sell Madrid versus our long in Marrakesh. So let's sell Madrid 5 contracts, confirm. So as you can see, look where my mouse is. I'm short 5 contracts in Madrid versus long 5 contracts in Marrakesh, and those two cities are negatively correlated, and I bought and sold those with a statistical advantage relative to my curve, and that's something I could hold for a while, because what you're doing, you're just playing the statistics of one against another. So this is an example of applying these 2 principles to be a successful weather trader. The first, you just got to use, you got to take trades that give you a statistical edge relative to your curve, and we did that in both cities. And you have to play one city against another, and you got to find the cities that are negatively correlated in order to do that. So that wraps up the 2 things that you have to do in order to be a successful weather trader. From here on out, I'm only going to talk more about trading ideas, and especially how understanding climate can really make you a better trader. So see you next time, okay?